Welcome back, everybody, to a winter survival night. I've got no tent, no sleeping bag. I do have a freakish huge saw to show you. I think you're going to get a kick out of. Nearly 5 feet long and a very thick chopper blade. So we're going to have some fun with that. Make a big long fire. Figure out some kind of shelter to build. I don't know what. So stick around and see if I have misery and failure or if I have some success. So let's get after it. Whew, I finally started to hit the ground. Snow is a little bit deeper than I thought, and I am just dripping. So yeah, a lot of digging. I still gotta cut wood, get this braced over and get enough for the fire for the night. So it is about 2:50 right now. I think I've got about 4 hours-ish. Probably more like 3.5 hours, but there's a lot of dead wood around, but I gotta save energy to cut and keep a big long fire. So we'll keep going. Whew, that was a lot of digging. Oh my gosh. Well, as you can see, I got it cleared out. I'm down to soil. I left enough room to put the long fire here. I wanted it about 6 foot and just about 6 foot here, enough to just be under. It's supposed to be clear skies, not worried about showers or anything like that. I just want something to catch the heat. That's what's nice with leaving the snow, is it'll just reflect back that heat. Yeah, it'll start to drip a bit, but I pretty much did a straight wall, so it's not a big deal. So now I'll go cut wood and start getting the roof put in place and get a drink of water. Good grief. All right. Whew. This is a lot of work. So one of the 2 ridiculously large tools I brought with me is this guy. Machete by Tops Knives. You know, I thought I'd go for the Crocodile Dundee effect, but this thing's gonna be fun. It is a huge chopper. This thing is a beast. Look how thick that thing is. Hopefully that shows up on camera. Solid all the way through. So we're gonna have some fun. Ooh, that's a little sketchy, but firm. Now watch me go falling through on camera. That'll handle a good load. Works pretty good as a pry bar too. Obviously, this is dead. It's completely rotted out. I'm going to use this bark as a base. Anyways, I'm going to pry this off, use it as an insulator probably for the fire and for my bedding. All right, give you a little closer look there. So I just have it stretched out long enough for me to lay on. I'm going to throw some pine boughs on top, and should be pretty well insulated. So it nicely kind of stacks together like a puzzle. I'm good to go. So I'm taking these guys, just shoving them back in the snow tips and just trying to crisscross them back and forth. Make a little bit of bedding here. Get some insulation off the ground. That's all that matters. Oh, that's not too bad. It even has that piney fresh smell. I brought a little poncho with me, so I'll throw that down over the top and have my blanket, and I should be good to go. Now I need to get to cutting some wood. I got that Widowmaker right next to me here, so I'm gonna try to drop it. It'll probably get snagged up in the tree, but we're gonna get it down one way or the other, and that should give me just about enough fuel for the night, so I hope. All right. So this is the second guest of honor, the Silky Katanaboy 650. This thing is huge, guys, and it is fun. I've used it once already in my last video, and it is ridiculous. Just about a 2.5 foot blade. Overall, it stands just shy of 5 foot, fully extended. Just has a press lock here. And there you go. Look at that thing. So I'm just about 5'11", right around there. That's all blade. Look at that thing. Oh, you just feel like you could just mow through trees. Whew. And it's just fun to be out in the forest, swinging this around, making you feel cool when you're not. All right, so I just cut my wedge out. Not much effort. Look at that thing, super clean. That thing is insane. Not too much effort at all. Usually I'm reefing hard back and forth. Just a light pull and that thing slices. All right, I'll do my cross cut and let this fall. Now the key is for this not to land on the shelter. I actually meant to cut this down before doing the shelter, so stand by. Look at that. I'm gonna pretend that was solely on purpose. No, it kind of was. The tree was already leaning that way, so it's pretty easy to determine, and it's not too big, so. But I still was getting a little nervous that it might land on the shelter on film. And then what am I gonna do? It's pretty embarrassing. All right, the nice thing is I don't have to pack that very far, so I'm gonna start chopping up in about 6 foot lengths, get this fire going. So tell me what you think about this. I mean, that is so easy. I didn't exert near as much energy as I usually do. So let me know below in the comments. Oh, hit the like and subscribe. Smash it with your elbow. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Comment if you get that one. All right, thanks guys, helps out with the channel. All right, so to build a long fire, what we want to do is take a couple rounds like I have set right here, and then we're going to start bringing all this tinder, all these dried out branches from the base of the tree. And if you're looking for these, just go up to any of the pines. Usually spruce are really good, but they're all dried out around the base, perfect kindling. You can just snap them off with your hands. What you want to do is kind of break these up. Doesn't really matter. We're just stuffing this area with tinder. Just kind of want to pack it down between these logs, get it squished in there. And then once we've got a good amount kind of stacked and piled in here, we're going to take one of the bigger logs. And set that on top. Right like that. I brought some fat wood with me. We're just going to use a ferro rod and the fat wood, see if we can't get this going. We're just going to start tucking pieces all along here. It'll catch that tinder. Then I'll use the ambient heat off of the logs that are pressed together and start torching this whole thing. So it'll make sense here. So the poncho's down, serves two purposes. If I couldn't find any barrier like the bark and the branches, I would at least have a vapor barrier. I would still get really cold, but I could wrap myself up in it. And also if I knew it was going to storm, I can throw it over the top and at least keep the moisture out. But clear skies tonight just means it's going to get cold. Just got the blanket, and like I mentioned, lots of camera gear, that saw and axe, water, med kit, fire kit, and then some dry clothes to change into, pretty much long johns because I sweat so much. So yeah, not a lot, but let's get this fire going. Got a piece of fat wood, ferro rod, and my belt knife. Get some of these slivers. You can see how quick that takes off. Fat wood is extremely flammable. It's just pretty much turpentine. Look at that. So now I can tuck that down in here. Just a few little feathers and that thing will take off. All right, so you can see kind of what I did here. I just tucked those pieces of fat wood in 3 areas. This guy is exploding and taking off. It'll start to heat all this tinder. I'll add a little bit more tinder that I've got up there. And then this will just spread and work its way all along and start torching all these logs. All right, that's how you do a long fire. Let's kind of monitor this. I'm gonna need to get a little bit more wood. I'm pretty exhausted. Yeah, doing this after work and trying to drive up here. It's about 2 hours away. And then chasing the sun. I always think I have more time, but I think this is gonna work out well and be a cozy little shelter. I mean, this is gonna put off some massive heat, especially with this ice wall behind me and some cover. Yeah, I'm gonna be super insulated with the boughs I have down. So, should be good. I just gotta make sure I have enough wood, and I'm tired of cutting. But I gotta go get some more. All right, got everything pretty well squared away. Got my wood pile set. If I need to, in the middle of the night, there's a couple trees just over here, some dead standing that I can take out. I really hope not, because I'm pretty tired. So I got a thermometer I'm gonna throw up just to show kind of ambient temperature in here and then what it is outside. Then I brought a T-bone steak, so we're gonna replenish with some juicy meat, and hopefully that does the trick, because I am beat and I'm still pretty wet, pretty damp from sweating. Like I said, I've got a change of clothes I can change into. I always have to bring extra clothes because I sweat so stinking much. But anyways, fire's going good. It's actually pretty cozy, so not too bad for only having a few hours to throw this up. So still gonna be a long night. It's always a long night feeding the fire, but stick around, hang out. All right, time to get some dinner going. We've got a New York strip. Check that out. Gonna stick that on a stick, skewer it over the fire. I'm finally getting some coals going, so it should cook down nicely. I've got some bacon too. We'll see, maybe I'll save that for morning. So, and then I need to grab some snow, probably have some tea before bed, and just have some water overnight if I need it. So, let's get to it. All right, it's cooking now. I had to strip back down to the t-shirt, so it's pretty warm. I'm trying to get a bunch of coals going, and then I'll be able to do the steak. So, yeah, but it's putting off some serious heat. But yeah, this is toasty, but if I keep it up at this rate, I'm gonna burn through all my wood, and I don't need it this hot. I mean, it is almost unbearable this close to it. So, yeah, I'm just gonna skewer the steak. All right, I got the steak sitting over the fire. I'm just gonna sit back and watch that baby cook. Pretty crispy on the edges, but I don't care. All right, say a quick prayer. Amen. There we go. Meat. Oh, that's good stuff. So, funny ranger story. Back when I used to be a park ranger, worked out at some sand dunes. It was actually called Bruno Sand Dunes here in Idaho. And the biggest pest we had was raccoons. I mean, we had rattlesnakes, bull snakes, and porcupines, all that fun stuff, coyotes. But raccoons were such a pest. I mean, they would come each night, knock over all the garbage cans, fish everything out, and literally fish because people would fish nearby. And I'd show up to work the next morning and just fish guts spread out. I mean, trash just spread everywhere. You'd be amazed at how much they can spread it out. So I got used to a night shift playing with the raccoons, like either chasing them around, and they are mean. They are incredibly mean. I mean, you talk about they're cute, they look pretty sinister. They got the creepy little hands. But if you get them cornered and they want to come at you, I mean, they're like a little velociraptor. They are nuts. But funny story, what I was going to say was, so there were some campers. I did my rounds in the morning, and I come to check on this camper, just saying, morning greeting, hey, how was your night going? And the lady has a very weird look on her face, and she says, you know, in the middle of the night last night, I was sound asleep, and then I just kind of woke up, and they had a little camper van type thing with a full glass rear window, and she goes, my husband was out cold, and I could hear something kind of tapping, kind of rustling on the glass, and she said she looked up, and there was one of the raccoons, spread eagle, tapping and looking down at her, creepy as could be. Was standing on the spare tire and just peering in because they'll look everywhere for food, and they're incredibly smart. They know how to operate latches. But she said she was definitely awake after that, peering back and looking and seeing a raccoon tapping on the window and just staring at you. So that's my funny story about raccoons. Well, that was delicious. Polished that bad boy off. Shelter's working awesome, and yeah, I'm just gonna hang out and relax, and I'll check in with you guys when it's bedtime. All right, guys, it's about 12:05. I've just been lounging in front of the fire. It's actually been super relaxing. I've kind of dozed a couple times, or come close to dozing anyways. So just threw on another log. I'm just gonna see if I can sleep for at least a half hour here and there. That's usually what it is, but maybe I'll get a couple hours. I'll check in with you. I'll be throwing wood on probably off and on through the night. So either way, I'll touch base with you in the morning, and I'm actually really looking forward to a cup of coffee already. That's pretty bad, but pretty comfortable. The bed is decent. Those boughs, I got a couple things poking in my back, but it's a very doable shelter, easy to set up, other than digging down the snow and cutting the wood. I would have liked to plug a few more of the holes and make the bed a little bit softer and get some more boughs, but I'm pretty happy with it, so hope you guys are enjoying. We'll see you in the morning. I just laid down, and now the coyotes are going crazy. I don't know if you can hear that. I saw a few sets of tracks on the way in, but I wasn't sure if it was fox or coyote, but yeah, they're yipping like crazy now. Well, maybe a couple will want to come cuddle, keep me warm, since I don't have Falcor for the night. All right, it's 4:12. It is about, thermometer says it's 50, right about, well, where my bag is, just here out of frame. And it's 25 is the ambient temperature outside. So it did start to drop, feeling it a little bit, mostly through these. I didn't pile up enough boughs, so getting it pretty cold on my back. But I'm down to one big log and one little log left. So they burn about an hour at a time, hour and a half on the big ones. So, like I said, it's 4:12, so I've got probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours of burn time left. So I think I can just make it to sunrise with what I've got. I might have to cut just a little bit more here in a while, but I haven't slept at all, maybe 20 minutes. So I've just been back and forth, just watching the fire, feeding the fire. So, but that's kind of typical for these these outings. So that's all right. At least it's relaxing having the fire. So, all right, we'll see you guys at daybreak. It's about 6:30. I just threw on my biggest and last log. It's an old dense piece of aspen, about 10 inches wide, that I had to cut down additionally. So pretty warm. It says it's 68.5, roughly right here where I'm laying, so super warm. 23.7 Fahrenheit outside, so it definitely didn't stay that way all night. It dropped down pretty cool because every time the fire would die down, I'd get down in the 40s roughly in here, but still very bearable. Yeah, I didn't even need to use the wool blanket. I'm just using it as a barrier underneath just to keep the cool off my back. So yeah, all in all, pretty comfortable warmth-wise. I finally got about an hour or so of sleep around 4, from 4 to 5, and then a little after 5 to 6. So feel much better after a couple hours. And just a beautiful, calm night, that's for sure. All right, good morning, guys. It is just past 7:30. The sun is just starting to pop up. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful sunrise. Made it through the night, no problem, other than not really sleeping. Like I said, there at around 4 to 6, I got some rest. Wood lasted, no problem. Just barely though. I wasn't too concerned about having wood to keep warm in the morning. It was more just having enough to be able to brew up a pot of coffee. So that's my plan now. I got snow water from last night in here, so I'm just gonna put it on, bring that to a boil, make some coffee, and yeah, it worked out well. Didn't have to cut any additional wood. I started stripping some of the boughs off the shelter, just burning them since I'm gonna need to tear it down anyways. So yeah, the best part of the whole trip is coming up. Coffee in the mountains, sunrise. Stick around. I'll catch some footage of the sunrise for you. Well, I suppose if I'm having coffee, I should probably have a little bit of bacon. So So that's what I'm gonna do. Perfect, got enough for a second cup. Well, that's better. Much better. Well, all in all, guys, I would say it was a success. Shelter worked. Had a nice steak dinner. Bacon coffee right now, watching a sunrise. Stayed warm. Didn't sleep a ton, but I never do. Yeah, it was a fun outing. Put down in the comments some of your best adventures. I know a lot of you guys watch this channel because you like to get out, you like to do stuff. Some of you aren't able to anymore, and you used to do a lot of stuff. So share some of those adventures. It's fun for the community to hear. I like hearing them. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Like I said, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff helps the channel out. I think that's gonna do it for this adventure. I'm gonna tear down the shelter, probably just burn most of it. Finish my coffee, maybe go for round 2. Till next time, guys, get out and have an adventure.